Hey, it's Irreverent Aegis here, and in this video I want to highlight one of my favorite dungeon builds, the Ultimate Aegis. I've been running the Ultimate Aegis for a long time now, so I finally decided to put together this video. This build can be made on any tank, but because I'm a Necro tank snob, of course I'm going to show it on my Necromancer. The idea is simple. With this build, you are constantly giving your group ultimate. So much ultimate, in fact, that they can drop one on almost every trash pull leading up to bosses. This build synergizes really well with a healer running sets like Master Architect and or Saxiels because the uptime on these buffs will be incredibly high, especially if the healer saves up 500 ultimate, which will be easy to do with how much ultimate you're giving them, for the start of a boss fight. In addition to being incredibly fun to run in general, this build is also highly viable in a lot of endgame 4-man content, such as DLC dungeon hard modes and trifectas. It's particularly useful in phased hard modes, such as those found in Scalecaller, March of Sacrifices, Moon Hunter, and Ice Reach, or hard modes with a lot of adds, such as Moongrave and the Cauldron, or even fights where having a high barrier uptime will help you survive, such as Castle Thorn's hard mode. As a crow, you can even bring this build to help your terrible friends get their first clears because you'll get your resurrection ultimate back incredibly fast to revive their dead asses. First, let's go over gearing. Our front bar and 4 body pieces will have one extra piece, is Drake's Rush. When you bash an enemy, you give your entire 4-man group major heroism for 12 seconds. After a 6-second cooldown, the buff can be applied again. That equates to 24 ultimate in the first 12 seconds of a fight, 48 ultimate after 30 seconds, 72 after 48, 96 after 106, and 120 ultimate after a minute 24. The second set is Aegis, and you're going to run that as your Ice Staff back bar and jewelry pieces. Whenever you use a potion, you give your entire 4-man group 43 ultimate. It has a cooldown of 30 seconds, which means that you need to keep 2 jewelry pieces purple, in other words, don't gold them out, and have them infused with potion cooldown enchants. That will make it so that your potion cooldown lines up almost exactly with the Aegis cooldown. Assuming you hit the potion right at 30 seconds every time, that's 86 ultimate in the first 30 seconds of a boss fight, 129 after 60 seconds, and 172 after a minute 30. On a practical level, let's have everyone drop their ultimates together at the beginning of a boss fight. Immediately after, the tank bashes to activate Drake's Rush, switches bars, and hits a potion. Then afterwards, the tank makes sure to keep the uptime active the whole time. That's the tank providing 134 ultimate to the entire group in just the first 30 seconds after the original ultimates are dropped. Now, ultimate is generated at a rate of 3 per second just from people in your group hitting at least one light attack every 8 seconds, and every class can generate ultimate in its own unique ways through ability use or passives. Add in minor heroism, either provided by the healer or from minor heroism potions, and every player in the group can drop another ultimate as expensive as 250 right around 30 seconds after dropping the first. That's another Warhorn, Standard of Might, or Elemental Rage at the most expensive, or 2 extra Flawless Dawnbreakers on the cheap end. If the healer is wearing Saxiels, that's Major Force active for the first 35 seconds, that after that 35, about another 20 when the second ultimate's dropped. If you want to have some real fun, run 4 Sorcerers and have 8 Atronachs active simultaneously. Of course, if you do that, make sure everyone is running 2 pets and also has Mav the Infernal Monster Helm slotted. You're guaranteed to have your console or PC explode if you do that. Moving on to the monster set and mythic items, we have plenty of options. If you are running this setup as a Pug Saver Necromancer, that is a crow who specializes in reviving your dead friends, you'll want to generate ultimate even faster than the rest of your group. So, Blood Spawn is going to be your best bet. That's going to give you a chance to generate 13 extra ultimate every 5 seconds. If you're running this build with an experienced damage-pushing group, however, a buff set is more appropriate. At the time I recorded this video, Necrotis was the way to go. Magma Incarnate hadn't been released yet, and neither had the mythic item Spalder of Ruin. Any of these 3, again that is Necrotis, Magma Incarnate, or Spalder of Ruin, are great choices. If you go with a Monster Helm instead of Spalder of Ruin, that allows you to run my favorite mythic item ever, Bloodlord's Embrace. Because you're running 2 proc sets in Aegis and Drake's Rush, that frees you up to run 2 5-piece sets, a monster set, and another mythic item. That doesn't work with Spalder because it's a shoulder piece, so it takes up that shoulder monster slot. Bloodlord's Embrace, on the other hand, is the chest piece, so the math works out. Bloodlord's is just an overall great piece for tanks to wear because it provides incredible sustain, but it's not actually fundamentally necessary for this particular build. It'll just make your life easier as a tank. The other great thing about this mythic item is that you won't have to remember to activate it, because you're running Drake's Rush already, so you're going to bash, and that's going to activate both Drake's Rush and Bloodlord's Embrace. If your goal is to get yourself to be able to drop an ultimate as soon as possible, such as with the Pug Saver build, the best erase for the build is the Nord, due to the Stalwart passive giving you an extra 5 ultimate every 10 seconds. After that, the Imperial comes in second because it reduces the cost of all abilities, including ultimates, by 5%. If you're simply looking to drop Colossuses in tandem with your group to maximize damage, race matters less, but I want to mention that you can't go wrong with the Argonians because they get the extra resources every time they pop a potion, and you'll be dropping one every 30 seconds. Last but not least, let's talk about potions. For your potions, you're going to want to have a lot of tri-stat potions available, especially for the difficult boss fights. However, just as important as having all of these tri-stat potions, which can get expensive if you keep having to make them, make sure you have plenty of trash pots on hand as well. My preferred trash pot, as you can see here, is Essence of Stamina. However, I have messed around with having Essence of Magicka or your basic Essence of Health as well. Regardless, you're going to want to have a lot of these on hand for all of the trash pulls that you're doing, as you don't want to be using your nice, good tri-stat pots for the trash pulls just to generate the ultimate for the trash. Whichever potions you decide to use most often, make sure you quick slot all of them. That way you can easily swap back and forth depending on the fight you're doing or your needs at the time that you pop the potion. Now, I don't like to show a build without showing the context in which it's used in. So in this clip, I'm showing the final boss in Moongrave Fane Hard Mode on my group's Defanged the Devourer trifecta run. If you want to see the entire run, you can check out my ESO Tanking Perspectives video for this achievement. What I really want to highlight in this video, though, is that it's a very phased fight. That is, there are certain mechanics that are going to happen after a certain amount of time, in which case we're going to go group up, drop all our ultimates, and get past the phase. Usually it's to clean up all the ads that are on the map, as this fight is known for having a ton of different ads. So my job is simply to try to bash, or remember to bash, as often as possible. That way I can keep up Drake's Rush, and then strategically hit my potions after everyone drops their ultimates. So you can see that throughout the fight. Of course, watching this video after the fact shows me that I need to do a much better job with my uptime on some of these things. However, we did get the trifecta achievement, so there's really not much to complain about. So now comes the point in the video where I shut up and you can simply watch this trifecta in action using the Ultimate Aegis build. But before I completely shut up, I do want to mention that you should probably subscribe to my channel or hit the like button and leave a comment. I would really appreciate it if you did, in fact, get a lot out of this video. Alright, enjoy.
tongue world. Your death is the one good thing to